All right, YouTube, we are going to revisit that video that I said we were going to revisit because I'm getting kind of tired of people calling me a retard on YouTube because of my statement that you remember when Cold Steel used to make quality knives. I do know that they still make quality knives. I do know that. The problem is not that they don't make quality knives. It's their quality control. Their knives come out of their shop, fucking sharpened willy-nilly, fucked up, things wrong with them. And yeah, they offer this thing where you can send your knife back to them and they'll fix it because they're really responsive. As my responses will note that they'll send, you can send them the knife and they'll address the issue. If I spend money on something, I shouldn't have to fucking take it back to the shop. If you took your car to the shop and get your tires changed, and you went home and your lug nuts weren't tightened, you think you'd go to that fucking shop again? No, that's all I'm saying. Their quality control is lacking, and they're not holding their manufacturers, because basically at this point, Cold Steel Knives, people you see as the face of Cold Steel Knives, they're the marketing branch and design branch for a company, and they get stuff manufactured at a company in China. They're not touching these things, and apparently they're not looking at them. So basically they come out of China and they just basically, you know, unless it's some of the ones that like Andrew Demko is playing around with. I know he's been making some designs and things like that. I can't talk to those. But their line of like affordable knives, the quality control has dropped off over the years. And I've had people tell me well, you can't compare that $400 Cold Steel to that $40 Cold Steel. Why not? Cold Steel's Cold Steel. Their name is on it. I was simply stating, when I showed that $400 knife, I was not comparing it to a $40 knife. I was showing the innovation and things like that Cold Steel used to put out. Instead of just rolling with the tide, trying to find something. Instead of being innovative on their own and just rolling with whatever anybody else was doing, they used to do that. They used to come up with their own designs and things like that. And this was the knife in question when I was talking about how poor the grind and everything was on this. And I fixed it myself. I added a sharpening choil and I fixed the sharpening issue myself. There's still issues. The swedge isn't ground right. Does it affect? No, but here's the thing. If you're going to do something, you should do it. Now, here's the thing, another one. I had someone comment, there's no way you've worn out a Cold Steel knife. Cold Steel knives, and in his comment, Cold Steel with the greater than mark, everything else. Well, I got news for you, dude. Cold Steel is not greater than everything else. It's not, because I'm going to pull out of my pocket something it's on loan. I got news for you. This knife is 100% better than this knife or any other Cold Steel you're really going to grab because of the way it's designed. But I'm going to tell you right now, you take this knife apart, what you're going to find in it is Teflon bushings. And they last well for a while, but I've already got, let's see if you can see it. I've already got some, there it is. There's a good bit of blade play in this. Blade play in this. This knife, I haven't even carried it very much. Most of that blade play was developed when I was sharpening it. And I mean, it's a significant amount of blade play. And I've tried tightening the pivot, and it's not the pivot, because you tighten the pivot and then the action isn't smooth. And this has a fairly smooth action. Now, do I still carry it? Yeah, I still like this knife. I still carry it. I do. But you can wear a Cold Steel knife out easily. Teflon bushings. Teflon bushings. Steel bearings. I washed it because I had used it for something and I have not re-oiled it. This knife is on loan. This is the ADV Custom Tack Butcher. There's going to be a review on this one. This is on loan. But yeah, no, don't tell me I haven't ever worn out a cold steel knife. I've worn out a lot of them. I will say, though, there are some of them that if you wore them out, you did something. This is one that if you wore out, whew, buddy, I don't know how you did it. This, to go back to it, I don't hate cold steel knives. I was not bashing cold steel knives. I was just stating that they need to take a real hard look at their customer service. Not customer service, their quality control. Their customer service, from what I understand, is really good. I love this knife. I would never get rid of this knife. I got rid of several other cold steels. I kept this one. I like this knife. This knife, you are not going to get this knife to fail. I have to say that the cold steel knives with the triple action lock, bar none, the most robust locking system on a knife, period. You know, there's issues with every knife and every knife company. People find issues with my friend Chris and Elliot Williamson's knives at Fair and Forge. I find issues with their knives. Not all their knives are perfect for me. I've never found a ergonomic or construction issue. I've just found that I don't like all of their designs, which that's fine. They make enough designs fast enough that they're going to have one I like. Cold Steel has enough designs that they're out there. And I specifically said, if you are a kid that's 19 or 20 years old, or if you're a guy that works in a hard use situation, you're not going to beat a Recon 1 or some of those other knives. You're not going to be able to beat a Cold Steel knife for the money for that kind of purpose. I just personally have gotten to the point where I don't carry Cold Steels anymore. They're heavy. This is a heavy knife. A lot of their knives are heavier than some of the knives I carry now. And I've gotten into some of the mid-tech and nicer knives and things like that. But that doesn't mean that I can't recognize that Cold Steel, yes, does still make quality knives. So I just wanted everybody to understand. That video was basically on their quality control. You can see it on the... Let me see if I can line this up so you can see it. The spine on this one, is still... The grind here, the hollow, is deeper on one side than the other. That tip is not straight. I mean, I fixed the edge geometry issue. But, you know, why are knives coming off their line with issues? And I've had a lot of my comments have been like, yeah, never once had a Cold Steel knife that was sharpened properly. Never once. They didn't used to be. My old Cold Steels, they were nasty sharp. Nasty. This one was stupid sharp when it came. But with the angle of the edge being already wrong, after a little bit, that additional... Let me see if I can kind of explain. When your edge is straight and even on both sides, and you're cutting, it's going to cut evenly on both sides. If it's rolled over a little bit and you're cutting, it's just going to force it over and roll it over even more, and it's going to exacerbate an already off angle. Is just going to get worse, and it's not going to stay sharp as long. That's why. That's why a knife that's not ground properly gets dull faster. It is. It really is. Because you're trying to force it through this way, it wants to go this way, and you're just going to push that edge over. That's why. Now, you can tell me I'm wrong. I mean, people do it in my videos all the time. You can tell me I'm wrong, but I've seen it. Once you fix the angle, the edge stays better longer. And I shouldn't have to, immediately when I get a knife, fix the angle on the edge or send it back. So, no, just wanted to address some of those things. And then the nastiness that I get in these. Like, are you fucking retarded? No, I'm pretty sure I'm not retarded. Pretty sure I know that my knife was misground. Like I said, I carry this knife. I have to be careful. It's beyond what's legal here where I live in California. It's not a switchblade, but the blade length is a bit much. I have to be really careful with this one because I've basically got a folding fucking hatchet folding sword. You spell it that way, I'm going to say it that way. S-W-O-R-D, sword. This is an awesome design. That knife's not coming out of your hand. Awesome designs. They do have awesome designs. They've started, and then if you listened in that video, you heard me say, I have high hopes that these steps that they're taking towards more quality materials, XHP, which I mentioned, someone said CTX-HHP, someone, not me, someone said CTS-XHP, quote, takes a garbage edge but holds it forever. That wasn't me that said that, okay? So these comments, like, what are you talking about? I personally don't like XHP. I just don't, you can get it. It does get really sharp. It takes a long time. It is hard to sharpen. It's a pain to sharpen. You got to be patient. I don't like the edge I don't like the edge it takes. And I don't know, for me, it's the way the edge feels and the way it cuts. I don't know, it feels almost gritty, almost like the grain structure is a lot. And I explained to somebody that they're like, oh, XHP is still like premier. Yeah, it is. It's still, it's a high quality steel, but XHP was at the precursor when they just started coming out with these. It's all these super steels, S35VN, S30V, XHP, 20CV, S90V, M390, which is basically the same as M390. You're trying to compare metallurgy from years ago to metallurgy now, is comparing XHP to some of the newer stuff that is amazing, like 20CV is amazing, M390 and 20CV. It's a newer steel. It's newer, and it's newer to the knife world. That's like comparing 440C to XHP. 440C is still a very good knife steel. It really is. At 440C is an excellent knife steel if you do it right. But XHP has just got some qualities that are better for certain applications. I'm not saying I did not say XHP was not a good steel. I don't like S30. Well, let me go back to that. I didn't think I liked S35VN because my Sebenza doesn't want to hold an edge. But then I got my W601 in S35VN, and it's amazing. So it just depends on where you're getting it from. Chris and Elliott's new Falcon knife that's coming out of WE. That's their design through that mass drop. Oh, by the way, yep. Hey guys, 2 days. That knife drops in 2 days on mass drop. You know, S35VN, I don't necessarily like it. I've gotten to where I love 20CV and M390. My Dave Dang Riat, M390 steel, that thing will hold an edge for frickin' ever. My Fair and Forge Archbishop holds an edge forever. But, you know, it depends on the person. Some people like certain steels better. 20CV can be a pain to sharpen. S35VN is fairly easy to sharpen. Just depends on the person. So I have decided that I'm probably going to put this one up, and then I'm going to leave that other video because, I mean, it does get a lot of views. It's like, I think it's got like 40,000 views. I'm going to leave it up, but here's the thing. Don't take what I said in that video and then get all pissed off because it's my opinion. And then for you to then go in and tell me my opinion is wrong with your opinion, it's not going to do anything. So I'm probably not going to answer any of the comments on there because you're going to think I'm stupid and I'm going to think you're stupid. And if we both think each other's stupid, it's not going to get us anywhere. And the next thing you know, I'm going to take down your comment because I got mad because you said something. And I don't want to do that. I don't take down people's comments. I said the only reason I took down that comment from Dirt McGirt, I had left it up forever. I let it go. People were getting confused and thought he was the owner of the channel. That comment was at the top. I never moved it. It was the first comment you saw when you looked at that video. Did I agree with his opinion? No, I didn't agree with his opinion, but it was his opinion. So yeah, no, it's just, I wanted to clarify this a little bit. So I have a lot of cold steel knives still. There's two here. There's one out in my workbench. There's two in my safe that are those really nice ones, and they stay in the safe because I like them. And I don't want to see them ruined. And I'm holding those ones in there. Those are in the safe because I'm holding those for my daughter. They're not going to get used because I see a time where those knives aren't going to be around. Well, one of them's a discontinued model, and it's gorgeous, and I love it, and you're never going to see it again. So, yeah. And then the comments about, well, I see how you carry your knives. Well, I don't ever remember making a video of me in the field how I carry my knives. That's interesting. Did you follow me around? But no, like I said, cold steel, yes, does make good quality knives. It's just they're not. Cold steel fills a niche, and they fill it really well. Cold steel fills that niche of knives that will last you a while because they're budget. 90% of our knives are budget. They do have some really, like they're some of the fixed blades in the Sanmai 3 steel, amazing, but I can't afford them. And then they've cut corners. They don't do the leather sheaths like they used to. Like I said, a lot of their leather sheaths are done in Kydex or Securex, and I hate the Securex. I think you heard me. I think I did a video about it. The Securex has got the nylon in, or the fiberglass in it. And the second you draw a knife out of a Securex sheath, it's dull. It is. Virtue of Voice did a video on it too and proved my point. I don't have a knife anymore that has a Securex sheath. The knives that I had that had Securex sheaths, I had changed to Kydex because Kydex won't dull your blade. Leather, I love a good leather sheath, but Cold Steel has stopped making their leather sheaths because they make their Securex, and I've sent them letters letting them know, hey, your Securex is you can't keep a knife sharp in a Securex sheath. I had to sharpen it. I had a little push dagger, and I sold it, and I would sharpen it. I was like, why can't I keep this thing sharp? And every time I would pull it out of the sheath. Nylon reinforced on handles, awesome. Nylon reinforced in sheaths, fiberglass reinforced in handles, awesome. In sheaths, bad idea. Bad idea. All day and twice on Sunday. Nope. This is something that I wouldn't get rid of, something that I see quality in, and it's a plastic sheath. I think this is what they called their Grivery. And it's been carried. It's held up well. This usually doesn't get a lot of hard use. This is like a camp knife, so it gets little minimal pocket carry, but usually it gets thrown in a backpack if I'm going camping in case I need something substantial that I don't want to have to carry a fixed blade. This fits the bill where I can just kind of fold this up, slide it in the pocket of a backpack if I'm going camping, toss it in my pack, and then I'll have a small knife in my pocket, and then I've got something where basically it is the strength of having a fixed blade because, like I said, it's like having a fixed blade with that triad lock. But the convenience of a folder because I can fold it up and I can put it in my bag and it's not as heavy as having a fixed blade. No, that was all I wanted to do about that video. That's it. I just kind of got tired of getting ridiculed about my comments. So, yep, like I said, gonna do a video about this custom butcher. Chris Williamson let me borrow this. This is one of his. They've got some custom knives up there that they've traded with people for. So, yeah, I'll get some more videos out. I want to carry this for a little bit before I make my decisions. I've already got some things I want to talk about on it. I got a sore thumb from it. We'll get into those comments when I do the video, but it is Easter. You guys have a happy Easter. And like I said, please, if you would, go to my Patreon. Go to patreon.com and search Michael Emler, just like my YouTube channel. And if you don't want to donate, please at least share it with if you see the value in it. And yeah, that's it for this weekend. I'm pretty tired. I was up at Elliott's all day yesterday grinding one of my fixed blade knives. I was up there Friday night. My friend Nico came down from up north. You heard me talk about Nico. He let me borrow all those knives. Nico came down. We goofed around in the shop. We re-anodized some stuff. We had some beer. Then he came back here and we drank a bunch of sake here at the house. And then he went up with me yesterday to Chris and Elliott's shop. And we puttered around there. And I did a bunch of grinding on knives. And he anodized everything he owned that was titanium. So, but yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to get off of here and I will talk to you all later. You have a good weekend. Have a happy Easter. Be good to each other, and I'll talk to you later.